2019 BMW X3 SUV review. The X3 is just one of BMW's most essential SUVs, taking up impressive competition available as the Mercedes-Benz GLC, Audi Q5, Volvo XC60 and Land Rover Discovery Sport. Since 2003, over 1.5 million examples discovered homes. Using this type of latest incarnation, the need to be seriously impressive. There's every reason can be expected it to ensure success, because this latest generation X3 has an excellent drive, reduced cabin, the other of the best drives among its rivals. Also boosting its appeal from the years to come is undoubtedly an all-electric version badged X3, and can well be the initial all-electric SUV of their size. If you want an X3 which has a sportier feel, the BMW X4 is accessible, which is critically the same car but which has a coupe-like roofline. BMW X3 engines, excellent diesel and petrols, plus performance models. The X3 shares many mechanical components along with other cars inside BMW range, namely the 5 Series and 7 Series, and comes using a range of 4 and 6-cylinder turbocharged petrol and diesel engines. In the UK, the engine lineup includes diesel xDrive 20D, xDrive 30D and M40D, plus petrol-powered xDrive 20i and M40i. All models are fitted as standard, having an 8-speed automatic gearbox. A hardcore X3M has joined the number with over 500 horsepower, while an all-electric X3 is defined to join the product range too. It wouldn't be unreasonable you may anticipate a plug-in hybrid to get added for the lineup, too. Unlike the prior generation, xDrive 4-wheel drive is additionally standard on all UK models. BMW X3 interior, good quality and practical. The raised driving position is comfortable, effortlessly instruments simple to use and the controls logically arranged. The metal look trim inserts don't entirely spoil the premium feel, however they could look more authentic, plus, in conjunction with plenty of other materials, help with a slightly busy design. Especially when compared to rivals from Audi and Volvo. All models include at least the 6.5-inch central iDrive infotainment screen and navigation system. We've sampled the 10.25-inch professional system, featuring its intuitive menus and crisp graphics. This comes with a touch screen and also a rotary touchpad from the gear lever, in addition to voice activation to master its functions, offering drivers multiple choices to allow them avoid distractions while driving. At 4,716 mm long, the X3 continues to grow by 51 mm over its predecessor, and this goes between your front and rear wheels. Merely the Mercedes GLC has a somewhat longer wheelbase. As a result, we found new room to spare for any 6'1" tall rear seat passenger sitting behind a similarly sized driver. Headroom can also be generous. As an option, the spine seats can recline for further comfort, but there's no 7-seat version. You'll be wanting the X5 for the full-size SUV with room for a few extra passengers or maybe a bigger boot. Lifting the electric tailgate reveals a broad load bay and flat floor, so that it is easy to load large items. BMW claims 550 litres of luggage space with the trunk seats available, unchanged from the prior X3. You can also fold them forwards, using a 40 hours 20 minutes 40 seconds split, to unlock 1,600 litres of luggage space overall. This is like the Mercedes and Audi, notably superior to the Volvo XC60, 1,455 litres, but even less spacious when compared to a Discovery Sport, 1,698 litres. How does the third-generation BMW X3 drive? With exactly the same confident capability the prior X3 did. It's slightly firm on its suspension, regardless of whether using the optional adaptive suspension, but handles incredibly well for the high-riding SUV. All available engines are smooth and punchy, the gearbox quick and seamless, as well as the cabin comfortable and quiet. The steering is usually heavy, as we've come can be expected from BMW, though the steering wheel itself features soft leather to get a more premium feel. We've also taken the X3 off-road, which involved crossing heavily worn gullies, and negotiating some steep ascents and descents with restricted grip. The X3's raised ground clearance of 204mm allowed it to carefully tiptoe throughout the terrain, with all the X-Drive all-wheel drive system overcoming steep, low-grip ascents rapidly. X3's road-biased tires and hill descent control allowed us to pre-program within a set speed for controlled crawls downhill without touching the brakes. While it would be a relatively mild off-road route by Land Rover standards, it had been far over most buyers' requirements, therefore it is good to learn X3 can tackle the majority of things you'll throw advertising. BMW X3, Pricing and Specification. X3 pricing is similar to rivals, but represents an amazing increase of virtually 10% over an equivalent 3 Series X-Drive Touring. Standard equipment includes 18-inch alloy wheels, a reversing camera, parking sensors front and back, LED headlights, satellite navigation, and BMW connected drive with real-time traffic information. The trim structure includes base specs A, X-Line, M Sport as well as the standalone M40i and M40D models. Key options include alloy wheels as high as 21 inches, panoramic sunroof, Harman, Kardon Hi-Fi, Apple CarPlay, and a selection of driver assistance systems, including forward collision warning and lane departure warning. So far we've experienced a chance to sample both diesel powertrains offered by launch, the X-Drive 20D and 30D, along with the M40i. What's the BMW X3 X-Drive 20D want to drive? The X-Drive 20D's 2.0-litre 190 horsepower and 400 Nm of torque allow it to become plenty punchy enough for pretty much anything required than it during road driving, plus it takes off quickly too. 0 to 62 miles per hour is achieved in 8.0 seconds, but due to its all-wheel drive system it feels quicker than that from the mark. There's a considerable SP watch of pull to achieve overtakes with minimal fuss. Additionally, on the cars we've driven to date equipped with Acoustic Windows, a 110 pounds option, it's also incredible hushed and smooth moving around. Factoring the 53.3 miles per gallon and 140 grams/km CO2 emissions makes this the option motor from the X3 lineup. What around the BMW X3 X-Drive 30D? The X-Drive 30D, 265 horsepower and 620 Nm, 0 to 62 miles per hour in 5.8 seconds, successfully translates BMW's ultimate driving machine ethos on the SUV segment. Its steering is pretty heavy, but precise, fast and crisply detailed, as well as the combination of relatively firm suspension with an all-wheel drive system that feels predominantly rear-wheel biased provides both driver engagement and security on twisty roads. This big-capacity diesel suits the X3 perfectly, which has a smoothness far more advanced than smaller four-cylinder versions, and all sorts of the performance you're more likely to need, served from small revs. The smooth, responsive 8-speed sport automatic gearbox enhances these strengths. Our biggest issue with this particular motor will be the strength from the X-Drive 20D's attributes. Why pay more if the cheaper engine is equally as good in just about every meaningful way? Driven, BMW X3 M40i. The M40i takes performance an enormous leap further. That has a combination of muscle-bound acceleration and sticky road holding that enables for incongruously rapid progress. It's impressive, especially the 3.0-litre engine's combination of refinement with thumping 360 horsepower/500 Nm performance, making for 0 to 62 miles per hour in 4.8 seconds. Nevertheless, it does lose something with the X-Drive 30D's fluidity and translation. The uprated steering feels less natural, the suspension more agitated. It's a waste there isn't another more challenging 6-cylinder petrol X3 available. The yet-to-be-confirmed for Britain 4-cylinder X-Drive 30i will be the next step down. Petrol X3 X-Drive 20i. The X-Drive 20i, which boasts 184 horsepower and 290 Nm to get a 0 to 62 miles per hour use of 8.3 seconds, has impressed in other BMW Group products, like the Mini Cooper S-hatch, but we've yet to utilize it inside the X3. Coming soon, BMW X3M. Topping into your market in terms of performance would be the likely being extremely fast X3M, with power predicted for being north of 400 horsepower at a turbocharged 3.0-litre six-cylinder engine. It'll come as no real shock to anyone remotely acquainted with BMW that it's the most effective in its class to push, with all the handling especially accomplished. Despite its taller stance relative on the 5 Series it's determined by, the X3 doesn't lean overly into bends and offers prodigious feedback to your driver regarding what's going on relating to the tyres along with the road. All UK models feature X-Drive or wheel drive. This also provides titanic levels of traction in the bends when accelerating at a standstill. So far we've only completed it on the optional adaptive suspension, allowing for comfort and sport drive modes, and located the contrast breathtaking. There's also an adaptive function to the drive modes that permits the car to choose for itself according to your driving and information from your satnav, and again it has been incredibly well engineered. Off-road within the BMW X3. We were impressed with the way it dealt with off-road situations. It's certainly as capable because it needs to become for the overwhelming many British car buyers. There's a lot of off-roading kit installed, for instance hill descent control in conjunction with relatively deep approach and departure angles, meaning it'll tackle steep slopes without catching top or rear bumpers. The overall design hasn't changed much compared with the earlier X3, but that's no real issue because it's a carefully thought-out cabin design with a lot of space along with a vast suite of driver-facing controls. Switchgear is often BMW, meaning it lacks some on the sparkle you will find in some Mercedes products, but it really is still excellent and stylish and features. Updated iDrive multimedia system. The interior now features tech such as optional 10.25-inch iDrive infotainment system. This features multiple control methods, including its touchscreen, a rotary touchpad through the gear lever, voice control and in some cases gesture control to get a few of their functions. The idea behind this can be to offer the driver choice concerning which way they interact using the car, but we found the rotary touchpad was quite possibly the most intuitive method. With only some minutes practice you'll be utilizing it without thinking about the actual way it works, which is breathtaking. Its graphics and processor are clearly in the higher end with the market too, with zero latency when zooming in and out for the navigation mapping, something that's quite unusual at use of publication. Strong standard specification. A new multifunction leather controls comes as standard with softer hide, and there's an awful lot of extra aspects of storage space like larger door bins. 3-zone climate control and ambient lighting are standard across the product range, adding extra value. Options including a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster and full-color head-up display. We've currently only had the possible opportunity to drive top-spec cars, so it's going to be interesting to discover how quality filters down for the rest of the stove. Initial impressions are that it is a solidly built machine with comfortable, highly adjustable seats. We'd strongly help you specify the optional 110 pounds acoustic windows. These work together with the standard acoustic windscreen to drown out just about all wind noise at motorway speeds, plus suppresses much with the diesel engine's rattle. Road noise is definitely an unavoidable hindrance, however, because of the huge wheels within the cars we've tested. Another option we've been impressed with will be the adaptive suspension. Unfortunately we've yet to sample an ordinary setup, though the comfort and sport settings with the dampers give a fine contrast from your softer ride for everyday driving as well as a firmer setup for sportier situations. The former is still just a little on the bumpy side over rough tarmac, however, that is still a BMW understanding that means we can't expect the type of pillow soft ride you'll find over a Volvo XC60 on its optional air springs. There are 3 trims levels and also a single performance derivative for the top of kids. The structure and equipment are highlighted below. Base specs: A trim, 18-inch alloys, aircon with 3-zone climate control, ambient lighting, Bluetooth connectivity, BMW connected drive services, cruise control with braking, DAB radio. Drive performance control, drive modes. Directional brake lights. Matte black interior trim. LED headlights. Parking sensors. Automatic parking system. Heated front seats. Multifunction sports leader. Powered tailgate. 40 hours 20 minutes 40 seconds split rear seats. Tire pressure monitor. Moving to X-Line also nets you 19-inch alloys. X-Line badging. Aluminium trim. Larger fuel tank. Stainless steel loading cylinder boot. Sports front seats. X-Line exterior styling and further underbody protection. Moving with an M Sport model secures you 19-inch M Sport alloys. BMW Professional satnav. LED fog lights. M Sport bodykit. Sports suspension. Black roof rails. Semi-digital cockpit. M badging. Then, sitting as being a standalone model with the top of the stove, the M40i builds upon M Sport and gets 20-inch alloys. Velour floor mats. Anthracite headlining. Variable sports steering. Grey mirror caps. BMW X3, optional extras. There's a tremendous swathe of optional extras available here. Many are accessible in packages, including Premium Package, lumbar support for driver and passenger, panoramic glass sunroof, electric seat function with memory. Technology Package, digital cockpit, gesture control, wireless phone charging, head-up display, Wi-Fi hotspot preparation, special key with 2.2-inch screen and extended functionality. Visibility Package, adaptive LED headlights, automatic high beam. M Sport Plus Package, 20-inch alloys, Harman Kardon speaker system, M Sport brakes and protection from the sun glass. Other popular optional extras include 8 metallic paint colors, 2 non-metallic car standard, interior trims, adaptive suspension, ventilated seats along with a choice of 18, 19, 20 and 21-inch alloy wheels. No surprise how the X3 scored the total 5-star crash test rating from Euro NCAP when it absolutely was safety checked with the end of 2019. Safety equipment on all X3s from base spec say includes Bluetooth hands-free, BMW connected drive services, LED headlights and dynamic brake lights, stability control, a computerized parking system, acoustic parking sensors, tire pressure monitoring and cruise control having a braking function. There's a suite of optional safety kit offered too, including a head-up display and also the driver assistant package, which nets you automatic emergency braking, cross-traffic warning, blind spot warning system. The driver assistant plus package then adds active cruise control, active lane keeping technology. With more room than ever before within the X3's cabin, 4 tall adults can sit comfortably. The occasional 5th seat remains better suited to smaller individuals, but we'd suggest 3 children really should be fine perched together on a spine bench. The cabin features more storage compared to outgoing X3, with improvements like larger door bins adding valuable versatility to this particular SUV. Along together with the improved interior storage spaces, the X3's growth means more space inside. Rear passengers may benefit from decent legroom, but boot space continues to be same amount because the outgoing model, at 550 liters. The rear seats fold within a 40 hours 20 minutes 40 seconds split, nevertheless they don't go completely flat. This should not be too problematic considering that all versions get parking sensors at back and front as standard. Optional automatic parking systems take all on the hassle away. Simply push a button as well as the X3 will steer itself in a space. The remote parking system around the 5 Series isn't available, unfortunately.